midlife has a way of changing the way that we see life, the way that we see aging, and the way that we think about where we are at this stage. I started these Candid with Krista conversations because I wanted to speak with women about midlife and how they feel at this point in life. And today I am so excited to invite Lori Fusaro to this conversation. She is a photographer whose work lives at the intersection of art, animals, and advocacy, and whose experience caring for an elder dog changed her view on aging. Lori actually and I met through a mutual friend. And we came to discover that we are both from the same area, the DMV, Maryland, to be exact. And when I put out the call to ask women in midlife that who might be interested in having this conversation, Lori raised her hand. And so the first thing that I want to know, Lori, is what made you say yes to this conversation today?
So, for one, I love you and everything that you do, and I wanted to be supportive because I think you're amazing. But also, I think it's such an important topic. Women, as they age, seem to get left behind or looked at differently, and it's just not true. And I wanted to be able to tell younger women, tell, other women if they feel like they've changed so much that they're not themselves,
Mhm.
that that's just not true.
Yes, I agree. And well, first of all, thank you so much for
Oh,
those words.
yes.
First off, the thing that really stood out to me about you and wanting to have you on is because of your experience caring for elder dogs, and one dog in particular that led to you writing a book about this experience. Because I do think that, just like you said, I feel that women, we don't get the same, historically anyway, have not gotten the same space and agency to be able to age in a way that is looked upon in a positive manner. And I do believe that that conversation is shifting, thankfully, because I think that more women are standing 10 toes down and really embracing aging. And that juxtaposition between caring for an elder dog, because in the same vein, we see a lot of that happening with elder dogs, right?
Yes.
Where people will be more prone to adopt dogs that are younger. And so I wanted to talk to you more specifically about your experience.
Yes. So I am a photographer and I have my own business, and I also work for Best Friends Animal Society, and that's a rescue organization. It's national, and I'm the staff photographer in Los Angeles. I see a lot of old animals come into the shelter. I also volunteer taking photos at the high kill shelters in Los Angeles. And that's where I met Sunny, who was, I think she was 15 years old when the family that had her from a puppy brought her back to the shelter because she was old. And it's so hard for me to understand that.
Mm.
And but it's not always because they're bad people, because a lot of
Mhm.
people think, "Oh, how can you give an animal away?" And I do think that for sure. But
Mhm.
Sunny in particular had cancer. Like a lot of people, if there's an illness or they can't take care of them
Mhm.
financially, that they
Mhm.
feel that is the only option they have.
Yes.
And it is tragic for the dog because they are older. They do have all the similar things, senile and all of that stuff as
Mhm.
humans get. So
Mhm.
I met Sunny and my heart couldn't let her die alone in the shelter.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so I secretly brought her home, didn't
Uh-huh.
tell anybody, didn't tell the husband, didn't tell, and I brought her home and I hid her in the art studio and then eventually told my husband. But that was the first like introduction into me caring for an old dog. And what I discovered was in the shelter, she was, just lying there and seemed depressed and just
Mhm.
overwhelmed with the noises and the
Mm,
concrete and all of that. But when I brought
mhm,
her home, she blossomed. And my
mm,
husband would joke and say, she was aging backwards. She started
mhm,
playing with toys. She started jumping around, and I had another dog and they got along, and I had two
mhm.
cats, and she wanted to eat the cats, but she was half blind, so she couldn't really see them, but she could smell them, and she would
Yes.
pump the air trying to catch them. But eventually she ended up, liking their company too. And
Yeah.
I took her to the vet, and the vet said she probably had 2 months tops to live because of the
Mhm,
cancer. So
mhm.
we're just basically hospice. But she ended up living for 2.5 years.
That
So
is incredible.
yeah, yeah. And I think for me, I stopped seeing her and treating her as an old dog. And I
Mhm.
think like that helped her in some way. She felt
Yes.
love. She felt like,
Mhm,
walking, and I took her on walks, and we went hiking and car rides and playing with my dog, and she
mhm,
just like had a whole new zest for life and for living. And I think that is what we as women need to understand too, that just because we're old or getting wrinkles or can't move around like we used to be, we still
mhm.
are valuable.
In so many ways. And so, quick question though for you.
Yes.
So, when you said that you secretly, okay, so let me just make sure I understand the timeline correctly. So, you were already doing photography
Yes.
for the shelter.
Yes.
And then Sunny came in and was
Yep.
dropped off by her previous pet
Yep.
parents. And then you were like, oh no, not on my watch. And we're like,
Exactly.
okay, I'm about to take Sunny and I'm going to hide her. So how did that transition go from, first of all, did the shelter know that you
Yes,
that they
yes, the shelter
the
knew.
shelter
I adopted her officially
okay,
from the shelter.
okay. All right. So you
And,
didn't start
yes, no, not
nobody
secretly
secret.
from them, secretly from my husband.
Okay, okay. So you did all
Yes,
the things right on the shelter side
yes,
just
yes,
with
they knew.
adopting.
And in fact, because older dogs who are sick get put down a lot quicker,
Mm,
they
okay.
knew that I was going to adopt. And
Okay.
Sergeant Moreno, amazing man, he actually put her on a list saying, "Do not euthanize because someone is coming." And it was a weekend. So he made sure that she didn't get put to sleep before I got there, which was
Okay.
amazing,
Okay.
amazing. Um,
Amazing.
yeah. And
Okay.
so I hid her from the husband. And then she is what inspired the book,
Okay.
because in my experience, so many animals, cats and dogs, get turned in as
Mhm.
older animals, and then
Mhm.
they're harder to adopt because they do
Mhm.
have, health issues. So the book was called My Old Dog, and
Mhm.
I wanted other people to know that they're not just, lumps on a log. They're not just sad,
Yes.
and there's a lot of life left in them. So I traveled all across the country with my partner in crime, Laura Coffey. She wrote
Mhm.
the stories and interviewed the people, and I did the photos. And so together we went all over the country interviewing and photographing people that adopted old dogs. So that was,
Amazing.
but yeah, very cool.
Amazing. So then, okay, so I want to back up just like a slight
Sure.
tad. So then, once you brought the dog, so how long was Sunny in hiding before you broke it to your husband?
Probably about a week. Like she
Oh,
was, yeah, she was.
really?
We have a separate art studio that's on our,
Okay.
on our. So it's where I am now, actually, and it's
Okay.
an old garage that we transformed into an art studio, podcast studio. So
Gotcha.
that's where she was, and
Okay.
he was like, "Why do you keep going in the art studio? Like, you never spend that much time out there." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm working on a project." And then finally,
Yeah, you
and
were.
as soon as he saw her, he was like, "Really?" And then I was like, "Yes." And then 5 minutes in, he was like, "Oh my god, this dog, I love her."
Amazing. That is so
Yes,
funny. Yeah,
yes.
you were working on a project, all right. A whole other
Yes,
being was there that
exactly.
you were caring for. I'm glad that it all worked out. I'm glad that your
Yes,
husband immediately fell in love and jumped on board. And
yes.
what's also remarkable, obviously, about this story is that Sonny was given a prognosis of not living very long,
Mhm.
and then to go on and not even just live to get by, but like thriving in your care. And I think that's such an important point, because I think that anyone that is getting older and maybe in midlife and might be facing health crisis or things that are going on, and they feel that they might be isolated or alone. Why Another reason why I think these conversations are so important, because having community and people that can hold space for you and see you, I definitely think makes such a profound impact on health outcomes.
Definitely, definitely, and Sunny's story totally just meshes with that message so incredibly well.
Can you share with us what's one big lesson that you learned in caring for an elder dog?
So, the book is about 12 years old, so I'm
Okay.
56 now. I'm gonna be
Okay.
57 in April. So, I was in my
Hey, wait,
40s,
April what?
April 12th.
I think that's another thing we had talked about. My birthday is April 14th.
Oh, that's right. Aries, Aries.
I feel like when we had that conversation, we also came to
Yes,
that
did
realization.
came to that realization, yes. Yes,
Okay.
so I don't think it really clicked in my head until I started getting in my 50s, and now I've got aches and pains, and I still shoot, and when I shoot, I'm very active because I'm shooting animals, so I'm on
Mhm.
the ground and up and turning and twisting,
Mhm.
and I can feel it for sure that
Mm.
I am
Mhm.
not, as limber or anything as I used to be, but I
Mhm.
don't let it stop me.
Yes.
Like I have a gardening knee pad thing, it's like a square foam that I
Mhm.
use for my knees because
Mm.
on the cement floor or on the hard ground, that and it cushions it, so that makes it easy. I have some arthritis in my hand just from years of holding the
Mm.
camera.
Mhm.
So I found a monopod for my camera so I can hold it like this and shoot. So I
Okay.
don't have to hang it on my neck which hurts
Mm.
my neck, and I don't have to hold it, which hurts my
Mhm.
hand. So
Mhm.
so things like that, when you're younger, you don't really think about that. And
Yeah.
then if you weren't willing to think out of the box, you might think, well, I can't do this anymore. I have to
Yes.
slow down. I can't
Mhm.
shoot as much as I used to, and
Right.
it could, if it's your passion and you love it, or it's your
Mhm.
career,
Yeah.
thinking outside of the box has made me
Yes.
be able to continue doing what I do.
Do you feel that that was immediate for you, thinking about pivots and solutions?
So my Aries personality, as you probably know, doesn't allow me things. I'm like, no, I'm gonna find a way to do whatever I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
There was a problem that needed fixing, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, how can I fix
Mhm.
it? What do I need to do?" Because I'm not gonna
Mhm.
stop. Like, even if I wasn't doing this as a career, I would be volunteering more in the shelters or
Yes.
working more with my private clients. And my experience with Sunny kind of, I think, knowing that just a little bit of tweaking in a lifestyle, like
Mhm.
she came to life and started
Mm.
running and walking and playing, and it was so joyous to see that, you know, I kind of maybe in the back of my mind that was there, that we don't have to like
Mhm.
stop. And I
Right.
had a
Yes.
neighbor too named Sid, who
Uh-huh.
when I first moved here to Culver City, he was in his 90s,
Mm.
and he was gardening up until the day he passed away. And
Wow.
our other neighbor, Frank and Gloria, same thing. Gloria passed away when she was 98, and she had flaming red hair that she dyed, and she
Mhm.
still drove a car. She walked every day. So seeing those folks was
Yeah.
truly like an inspiration.
I feel like there are examples all around that you can draw inspiration from, and that arriving in midlife is not the end of the chapter, but the beginning of another very important, beautiful one. And so, what can you share with us? Are there any surprises that you have found for yourself about being in midlife? Like, what do you love about this time in life? And then what are, if any, challenges that you find?
So I absolutely love where I am because when I was younger, I was much more concerned with what people thought about me, being, overwhelmed or confused. And now that I am the age that I am and I have all the experience that I have, I am very grounded in who I am and what I want, what I'm capable of. And it's a really cool experience. Forgot the other thing
Amazing.
that you were going to ask.
No, so don't worry. I was coming with it. Don't worry. So the other, because maybe there isn't. My other part of that question was if there were any challenges, anything that comes up for you that you feel. I mean, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit in terms of the things that you mentioned in terms of the pivots that you had to make
Right.
for your photography. Anything in addition to that? Would you put that in that bucket, or any other thing that might come up as a challenge during this?
So yeah, so challenge this is silly, but I always was the youngest in any job I had, in anything I did. I was like the youngster. And now I'm the oldest. And all of these people that I work with could be my children. And it is so crazy because I don't feel my age. And it's not really a negative thing, but it's like, oh, wait a second. I am not that age. And I do think of myself as still in my 20s or 30s. Like, and, but my mentality is not that. So sometimes I see younger people and I'm like, oh, now you're showing your age or, whatever. And I feel like I want to be like, oh, don't do that. But I don't, they need to learn and grow and stuff like that. So I don't want to be like the older in my day or wait till you're my age, you'll be sorry. So that's kind of a thing that makes me stop and think, and that's kind of a challenge in its own way, even though it's a little lighter and sillier.
And Lori, I feel you on that because exactly like you, just everywhere I went, I was always the youngest. I mean, obviously, just I'm sure like you, there are people that I have around me that are my close friends that are within the same range.
Right.
Like being here in Mexico, my core group, I am the oldest. And one of my closest friends that I met here literally could be my daughter. Like, it's wild.
Let me think. I remember when my mother was my age. And back then I thought, oh my God, she's so old. Like, and now I'm like, I remember specific things. We were, went on vacation at the beach and my mother was my age. And I'm like, it just blows my mind that remembering what she was like and what I am like, I mean, it's completely different.
That's so true. And I think about it, and I'm bringing this up for two reasons. This particular example for two reasons. 50 now is definitely, to your point, is very different from 50 of yesteryear. When I think about and I use this example all the time because it's the best example that
I know what you're going to say, I bet.
The Golden Girls?
Yes, the Golden Girls.
Watching the show and seeing an episode where they're talking about that they're in their 50s. And I'm like, excuse me, say what? Like, but to think that they were supposed to be in their 50s, mind blowing.
Yes.
So the other little caveat, I'm just sneaking this in, of the Golden Girls, because I know that you said that one of the people that you have worked with before is the incomparable late great Betty White.
Yes.
Please tell me that she was as amazing.
Oh my, she was the most wonderful person ever. One of the charities that I work with is Guide Dog for the Blind, and
Mm.
she was the speaker one year. And
Mhm.
so I got to meet her and photograph her. And then the cool part was some of the people who donated X amount of dollars got to have a private photo shoot with Betty. And
Oh, wow.
so I got to spend all afternoon with her, talking with her in between, the people coming in. And she talked to every single person until they were done talking, like
Oh.
until probably in her 80s when I photographed her,
Mm.
and still
Mhm.
just so full of life and energy and a
Mhm.
role model for aging too.
Wonderful to hear that. And it's a wonderful addition to this, what we're talking about in this conversation, and that another example of someone aging so wonderfully, so gracefully, who was
Yep.
acting, I think, all the way up until not
Yeah.
long before she passed. I mean, she was active throughout her
Yep.
entire life. So just another shining example of that.
One of the things that I love about being my age, because I don't care as much. I mean, I grew up, I still am to an extent, people pleaser. Like my parents, to this day, I still don't want to disappoint them. And I do
Mm.
so many things that have disappointed them. But now I'm okay with that. Now I'm like, this is what I'm doing. For instance, my niece just got married in Maryland, and
Mhm.
I really wanted to go, but
Mhm.
work-wise, I had stuff that I had to do that I couldn't get out of, that I was the only
Mhm.
one that was able to do it.
Mhm.
Flying across the country for the wedding
Mhm.
financially, wasn't super realistic. And, for me, going to a wedding, I'm not gonna have quality time to spend with everybody because it's gonna be the wedding and it's gonna be
Yes.
all the activities and tons of people. So I would rather go at a time when it's just us, when I can
Mhm.
really have quality time. And I told my dad right away, and he's like me. He was like, "I totally understand." But to tell my mother, I was like, did not
Mm.
wanna tell her because I didn't wanna disappoint her, because I knew she
Mm.
wanted me to go,
Yeah.
and I struggled with that, and I was like, "Wait a
Mhm.
second, I'm 56 years old. If she
Mhm.
doesn't understand, it's not my problem." And I told her, and she was like, "Of course." She's like, "Just plan another time to come. Yeah, we'll miss
Mhm.
you, but
Mhm.
whatever." And so that was
Mhm.
nice. It was that old pattern of
Mhm.
being, not wanting to disappoint and to be the
Mhm.
good little girl, and the
Mhm.
expectations that people have. For the most part, I don't do that very much anymore, but that just happened recently, and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh my gosh."
Which also just lets us know, and you said this earlier, that the journey just continues. We might become more into our agency. We might start caring less about what other people think. But that doesn't mean that the conditioning that's always been there just goes off like a light switch, right? It's
Yes.
something that you have to work. It's something
Yes.
that you have to show up for and be intentional about.
Yes.
You took the moment to, you felt your feelings and have these thoughts of expectations, but then you stopped and you were like, wait a minute, I'm grown. And
Yes.
so I don't think that it's, for most people, I don't, because you will hear a lot of people in our age group and in midlife say, I've gotten to a point where I don't care as much. That doesn't mean that these things don't come up from time to time. That doesn't,
Right.
that there aren't times we have to stop ourselves in our own tracks and remind ourselves who we are, remind ourselves of the importance of our boundaries. It doesn't
Yes.
just automatically, you turn one age or you step into midlife and it's just like, oh,
Right.
like these things don't show up.
And it also doesn't mean we're like, "Screw you. This is who I
Right.
am, and you don't I like it, you can walk out the door." Like, it's not like that either.
What would you tell your 25-year-old self? Your biggest lessons about aging or being in midlife?
It's a very good question. I mean, because there's so many things. Number 1, moisturize your neck.
Yes, absolutely. Noted.
But I think speaking up, because when I was growing up, I didn't speak up about anything. Like, if
Mhm.
I saw something happening that I didn't think was right, I would
Mhm.
be afraid to say something. Whatever the situation was,
Mhm.
I would not speak up because
Mm.
I was not secure in myself. I didn't have the confidence to articulate something without feeling like I'm young, I don't know what I'm talking about, or they might not take me seriously, or I might be wrong, or, all of those things made me not speak up.
Yes.
And I've learned that doesn't matter if you're wrong. Who
Mm-hmm.
cares? Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if you stumble over your words and you can't articulate your point of view. Conversations like that open yourself up to learning things. Standing up for what's right, I've learned, regardless of the consequences, your principles and your character are what make you.
Yes.
Practicing love and kindness. You need to be loving, kind, and accepting of what people are going to do for themselves.
And also
Yes.
loving and kind about what you want to do for
Yes.
yourself as well,
Yes.
holding that same care and space and visibility within your own self and
Yes.
how you want to show up, I
Yes.
think is also incredibly important. Before we get ready to wrap up, I want two more things that I want to quickly talk about. Number one, do you believe in bucket lists?
I do. I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
What are two things that are still on yours?
So I pretty much have done everything that I've considered to be bucket list.
Amazing.
And I have, I wanted to travel, and I have done a lot of traveling. One thing on my bucket list, I would like to go to Italy because that's where my ancestors are from.
Mm,
And my whole life, I grew up with, my maiden name was Tomlinson, and my
mhm,
grandmother was Italian. And
mm,
I always wanted an Italian last name, and I always
mm.
wanted, like, I love being Italian, and I just love that, like, just everything about the Italian culture and the food and everything. So I would
Mhm.
like to go to Italy. That is one bucket list. But on the
Okay.
flip side of that, I've done a lot of traveling, and I found that I don't really like traveling. Like, I am
Okay.
content to stay home. And so something on my bucket list is to continue to allow myself to say, that sounds fun, but I know that's not going to be fun for me.
Mm,
Christmas, for instance, like,
uh,
we get invited to friends for the holidays. And when we go there, I love it. I have an enjoyable time.
yes.
But also, I don't love it. I'm like, I like to
Mm,
have a quiet holiday at home with just me and my
mhm,
husband. When I was doing the book, I traveled all over the country.
mhm.
And actually, the thing that I enjoyed the most was room service in a fancy hotel.
Mhm.
That, like,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I mean, I now, whenever I am staying in a hotel or flying anywhere, I always, always, always get a fancy hotel and
Mhm.
get business class because what, like,
As you
one,
should.
like, yeah,
As you
like,
should.
I'm not gonna penny pinch and be like, "Oh, I'll just stay at the Motel 6 because I'm saving my," no, I'm going to the Four Seasons, and I'm getting, the luxury. I'm gonna order room service. Even if it's,
Yes.
$100 meal, I don't
Yes.
care. I am doing it.
Yes.
You're deserving of that. There's no reason why you shouldn't allow yourself
Yes.
luxuries.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy
Yes.
yourself. You are deserving.
Yes.
If you could treat yourself and do
Yes.
not feel any two ways about it. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Okay, so we are going to wrap up this conversation, which has been so great. But before we do, I do one thing with all of my guests, which is a little rapid fire,
Okay.
this or that sort of questions. And so we're going to run through those real quick, and then I want to
Okay.
get your last parting piece of advice or
Nice.
words that you would like to end with. Okay, so coffee or tea,
Coffee.
a
Coffee,
book.
which has
Yes.
to taste like melted coffee ice cream.
Okay.
I like it
These
sweet and light.
distinctions are important to make. So, okay, a book or Netflix.
Ooh, okay. Can I say neither and say Audible books on tape?
I have to say this. I did not think I was an Audible girl. I did not think that I was an audiobook person. But and now
It is the best.
I am now on my third
Nice.
Audible book right now as we
That's
speak.
so I used to read all the time growing up. So I would have said book, but
Mhm.
being busy and living in LA where you spend half your time in traffic, like
Mhm.
I put on an audiobook. It's so relaxing. You get swept. I love it. It's yep.
Okay. So peanut butter or almond butter. And yes, I do think there's a
Ooh.
difference.
Yes, there is a difference. And I'm going to say almond butter. I'm going to
Okay.
say almond butter. It has to be roasted and salted though.
Okay. Listen,
Yep.
I love all these distinctions. And then our final one is riding on a train or on a boat.
Oh, train for sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a train
Yep.
person too.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, any final parting words?
Don't be afraid to age, embrace it, keep yourself healthy so that you can enjoy aging at every stage. I'm excited to be like my neighbor Gloria in my 90s, driving and hiking and doing all the things. So, yeah,
Yes.
don't be
Yeah.
afraid. Embrace it and take care of yourself so that you are able to enjoy it.
Yes, I agree. And also, I think we would be remiss to also to not say if there's an elder dog that and you have the time and the space and the care and the love
Absolutely.
to not forget about our elder
Yes.
dog.
And I'll leave you with one other thought about adopting an older dog. You
Mhm.
would think that it would be sad because you're getting them at the end of their life, but
Mhm.
and since Sunny, I have adopted many 3 older dogs and many older cats,
Mhm.
and I have done hospice cats and hospice
Mhm.
dogs,
Mhm.
and the joy of seeing this animal be loved and have this wonderful retirement golden
Yes.
years of it, the joy outweighs the sadness. And
I
I
love
think
that.
it's a different sadness because
Mhm.
you know it's going to be sad. Having an animal your whole life and then them
Mhm.
passing away is a
Mhm.
different kind of sadness
Mhm. Agreed.
because they've been with you for a lifetime, but
Yes.
like bringing in an elder dog and giving them that love and comfort in their old age is just an amazing, amazing thing. So yes,
Wonderful.
adopt
Yes.
the oldies.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Lori, for being here, for sharing with
Yes.
us your midlife and aging experience. And
Thank you
if
for
you're
having me.
Of course. And if you are watching this, please let us know in the comments what some of your biggest takeaways were from this conversation. Definitely want to hear from you. And if you are a lady in midlife watching this and you would like to sit down and chat about your experiences and you would like to share some wisdom and knowledge, I want to hear from you as well. So shoot me a message if you would like to have that conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next Candid with Krista. Lori, thank you again, and take
Thank
care.
you. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.